Let me ask you something. Do you own a car? Maybe even a nice one? Something you worked hard to afford? Do you live in a decent apartment? Or maybe even a house? Do you take a vacation at least once a year? Do you eat out on weekends? Do you have a smartphone that cost more than $300? If you answered yes to most of these, the world would call you successful. Your parents are proud. Your neighbors notice. Your Instagram looks great. But here's what nobody tells you. Every single one of those things, the car, the house, the vacations, the phone, might be the exact reason you will never build real wealth. Not because success is bad, but because what we've been told success looks like is a trap. Today, we're going to talk about 5 financial traps that are hiding in plain sight, dressed up as achievement, celebrated by society, and quietly draining your future, 1 month at a time. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to see your own life a little differently, and that shift, that small, uncomfortable shift in perspective, might be worth more to you than any raise you've ever gotten. Before we get into the traps, let's talk about who we're really talking about. The middle class, the people in the middle, not broke and not rich. Comfortable, or at least appearing comfortable. In the United States, roughly 52% of adults consider themselves middle class. In the UK, it's similar. Across Europe, Australia, Canada, the story is the same. These are people with jobs, often good jobs. People who pay their taxes, save a little, spend a lot, and quietly hope that someday, things will feel a little more secure. But here's the painful irony. The middle class works the hardest, pays the most in taxes relative to wealth, carries the most debt, and retires with the least. A 2023 Federal Reserve report found that the median retirement savings for Americans between 55 and 64 years old is just $134,000. That sounds like a lot until you realize that at a standard withdrawal rate, that covers about 5 to 7 years of modest living. So what's going wrong? It's not intelligence. Middle-class people are educated. It's not work ethic. They work constantly. The problem is the playbook, the set of rules we were handed about what a good financial life looks like. That playbook is full of traps. And today, we're going to open it up, one trap at a time. Let's start with the biggest one. The one that's practically a religion in most countries, buying a home. From the time we're children, we're taught that renting is throwing money away, that owning a home is the foundation of financial stability, that it's an investment. And on the surface, it looks like success. A yard, a mortgage, stability. Roots. But let's actually look at the numbers. Say you buy a home for $350,000. You put 20% down. That's $70,000 in cash, gone immediately. Your mortgage at a 7% interest rate over 30 years means your monthly payment is roughly $2,100. But that's not what you actually pay. Add property taxes, let's say $4,000 a year. Homeowner's insurance, $1,500 a year. Maintenance, experts recommend budgeting 1% to 2% of the home's value per year. That's $3,500 to $7,000 annually, on average. And then there's the big stuff. The roof that needs replacing every 20 years. The HVAC system. The water heater. The foundation crack. The mold in the basement. Over 30 years, the total cost of owning that $350,000 home, mortgage interest, taxes, insurance, maintenance, is often closer to $700,000 or $800,000. Now, yes, the home may appreciate, but historically, U.S. home prices after inflation have grown by less than 1% per year in real terms. Nobel Prize-winning economist Robert Shiller has studied this for decades, and the data is clear. Real estate, as a primary residence, is not the wealth-building machine we believe it to be. So why does it feel like success? Because it looks like success. The house is visible. The mortgage payment is invisible to everyone but you. Here's the reframe. A home can be a wonderful thing for stability, for family, for roots. But it is not an investment in the financial sense, and building your entire wealth strategy around it is one of the most expensive mistakes the middle class makes. The trap isn't homeownership itself. The trap is believing that a home is automatically a financial asset, when for most people, for most of their lives, it is the single largest liability they will ever carry. Okay, let's talk about the second trap, and this one is personal for a lot of people. The car. In most Western countries, a car is not just transportation. It's identity. It's status. It's something you earn. You get a promotion, you upgrade the car. You turn 30, you upgrade the car. You feel stuck at work, you upgrade the car, because at least that feels like progress. And a nice car does feel like success. People notice. You feel different sitting behind the wheel of something that smells new and has a touch screen and makes a satisfying sound when the door closes. But let's look at what that actually costs. The average new car in the United States now costs over $48,000. The average monthly car payment is around $735. The average loan term is 72 months, 6 years. That's $735 every month for 6 years. That's $52,920 in total payments. But it doesn't stop there. Cars depreciate. The moment you drive a new car off the lot, it loses roughly 10% to 15% of its value. In the first 5 years, most cars lose 50% to 60% of what you paid. Add insurance, let's say $1,800 a year for a nice vehicle. Fuel, maintenance, parking in a city, registration fees. When you add it all up, the average American spends between $10,000 and $12,000 per year on their vehicle. Now here's the part that should stop you cold. If instead of financing a $48,000 car, you drove a reliable used car and invested that $735 per month into an index fund at a historical average return of 8% per year, after 30 years, you would have over $1 million. $1 million. From one car payment. The car isn't just transportation. For most middle-class families, it is the single most destructive financial decision they make on a recurring basis. Because unlike the house, which at least holds some value, a car is pure consumption dressed up as necessity. And the trap isn't needing a car. The trap is believing that the quality of your car reflects the quality of your financial decisions, when in reality, the opposite is almost always true. You get a raise. You've earned it. You worked hard for it. What happens next? Most people, almost instinctively, upgrade their life to match their income. Better apartment, better vacations, better restaurants, maybe a gym membership they actually use for 3 months. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it is one of the most invisible and most devastating financial forces that exists. Here's why it's so insidious. When your expenses were $3,000 a month and you earned $4,000, you had $1,000 left over. Then you got a raise to $5,000. Great. But now your expenses are $4,500, and somehow you still only have $500 left over. Or less. You make more. You save less. Every year. For decades. The financial planning industry has a term for this. The hedonic treadmill. The idea that human beings constantly adapt to their circumstances. When you get something better, it becomes the new normal. And then you want something better than that. This isn't a character flaw. It's biology. Our brains are wired for comparison and adaptation. But understanding it doesn't protect you from it. You have to actively fight it. A study by Fidelity Investments found that people who kept their lifestyle flat for even 5 years after a significant income increase accumulated 3 to 4 times more wealth than those who upgraded with each raise. 3 to 4 times more wealth. Same income, just different choices about what to do with the difference. The middle class trap here is a belief that rising income should translate into a rising standard of living in real time. But the wealthy, the genuinely wealthy, often don't live this way. Warren Buffett still lives in the house he bought in 1958 for $31,500. He drives himself to work. He eats at McDonald's. This isn't about being cheap. It's about understanding that visible consumption and actual wealth are completely different things. The trap looks like celebration. It feels like reward. But every time you inflate your lifestyle to match your income, you reset your financial foundation back to zero. Let's talk about the one trap that has the most emotional protection around it. The one that's the hardest to criticize because it's wrapped in the language of aspiration and opportunity. Education. Now to be clear, education has real value. Knowledge is real. Skills are real. Connections made in school can be real. But the financial structure that has grown around education, particularly higher education, has become one of the most effective wealth extraction systems ever created. Let's look at the numbers. The average student loan debt in the United States is now $37,693 per borrower. But that's the average, meaning millions of people carry $60,000, $80,000, $120,000 or more. A standard 10-year repayment plan on $50,000 at 6% interest means monthly payments of $555. Over 10 years, you'll pay back $66,612, nearly $17,000 in interest alone. And this assumes you can make those payments. Many people can't. They defer. They go into income-driven repayment. The loan grows. The interest compounds. Here's what makes it a trap. The degree was sold as the guaranteed path to higher income, but the economy shifted. Many degrees no longer carry the premium they once did. Meanwhile, the cost of those degrees has increased by over 1,200% since 1980, far outpacing inflation and income growth. And the real trap within the trap? The emotional one. Many middle-class families feel that not going to college or not sending their children to a prestigious university means failure, means settling. So they take on debt not because it's financially rational, but because it's socially expected. They mortgage their children's financial future for a credential whose value is uncertain in a job market that's changing faster than any curriculum can keep up with. This is not an argument against education. It's an argument for being brutally honest about the return on investment of any specific education at any specific cost. A $200,000 degree in a field with a $35,000 starting salary is not an investment. It's a trap dressed in a graduation robe. And now we arrive at the fifth trap. The one that sits quietly at the end of everything else. The one people think about every day, but rarely look at directly. Retirement. Specifically, the belief that the system will take care of you. For most of the 20th century, the retirement system in Western countries worked in a predictable way. You worked for a company for 30 or 40 years. The company gave you a pension. You retired. You received a fixed monthly income for the rest of your life. That system is essentially gone. Today, the responsibility for retirement savings has been almost entirely shifted from employers to individuals. The 401k in the US, the ISA in the UK, the superannuation in Australia. These are all individual accounts that require you, the worker, to make smart investment decisions consistently for decades. And most people are not doing this. According to Vanguard's 2023 How America Saves report, the median 401k balance for Americans in their 50s is just $60,900. The median. That means half of Americans in their 50s, people within a decade of retirement, have less than $61,000 saved. Social Security in the US was never designed to be a retirement plan. It was designed as a safety net. The average monthly Social Security benefit is $1,767. That's $21,204 per year. The federal poverty line for an individual is $14,580. So the average retiree on Social Security alone is living just barely above the poverty line. The trap is the assumption that something will work out, that retirement is a future problem, that the government will provide, that you'll figure it out later. Later has a way of arriving before you're ready. The most dangerous financial trap isn't debt or bad spending habits. It's passivity. It's the quiet belief that the system is designed with your best interests in mind. It isn't. The retirement system is designed to keep you working as long as possible and dependent on financial products that generate fees for everyone except you. The only way out is intentional, consistent, boring, unglamorous saving and investing, starting as early as possible, even when the amounts feel small. A person who invests $300 per month from age 25 to 65 at an 8% average annual return will have approximately $1,006,000 at retirement. The same person who waits until 35 to start investing $300 per month will have approximately $440,000. Same monthly amount, a 10-year delay. A difference of $566,000. The retirement trap is not a trap you fall into suddenly. It's one you walk into slowly, comfortably. With every passing year, you tell yourself you'll start next year. Now here's where we need to stop and sit with something uncomfortable. Every single trap we've talked about today, the house, the car, the lifestyle, the education, the retirement, they all share one thing in common. They look right. They feel right. Society validates them. Your family encourages them. Instagram celebrates them. The house is the dream. The car is the reward. The lifestyle upgrade is what you deserve. The degree is the ticket. The retirement plan is someone else's problem for now. This is what makes these traps so effective. They're not disguised as bad decisions. They're celebrated as good ones. And this is the real insight, the uncomfortable truth that changes everything if you let it sink in. Wealth is not visible. Wealth is what you don't spend. Wealth is the car you didn't upgrade, the house you didn't buy at the top of your budget, the raise you saved instead of spent, the degree you chose rationally instead of emotionally, the retirement account you funded every month for 30 years even when it felt irrelevant. Wealth is boring. Wealth is invisible. Wealth is the opposite of everything Instagram tells you success looks like. The people driving the expensive cars and living in the biggest houses are often not wealthy. They are the best-dressed prisoners in a financial jail of their own construction. So what do you actually do with this? First, audit your biggest expenses against their actual return, not emotional return, financial return. What does your car cost you per year? All in. What is your home costing you beyond the mortgage? Are these expenses building your future or consuming it? Second, define the difference between consumption and investment for yourself, not based on what your neighbors do, not based on what looks good, based on what actually grows your net worth over time. Third, automate your savings before you can spend them. Pay yourself first. Every month, before the lifestyle, before the restaurants, before the upgrades, transfer a fixed amount to an investment account. Make it automatic. Make it invisible. Make it non-negotiable. Fourth, be suspicious of financial decisions that feel socially necessary. The most expensive decisions in most people's lives were made because they felt like the expected thing to do. The house at the top of the budget, the car that matched the new income, the degree that looked impressive. Ask yourself, would I make this decision if nobody could see it? Fifth, think in decades, not months. The middle class thinks in monthly payments. Wealthy people think in decades. Every financial decision you make today is a vote for the person you will be in 20 years. You don't have to live like a monk. You don't have to give up everything that makes life enjoyable. But you do have to stop letting society define success for you and start defining it for yourself. Because real financial success doesn't look like anything on the outside. It looks like options. It looks like freedom. It looks like waking up one day and realizing that money is no longer the thing that controls your choices. That's what we're working toward. And it starts not with a raise, not with a lucky investment, not with some secret the wealthy are hiding. It starts with seeing the traps clearly. You've just done that. Now the question is, what are you going to do differently starting today? If this video made you think, even a little, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe if you want more conversations like this one. And leave a comment below telling me, which of these 5 traps hit closest to home? I read every single one. See you in the next video.